the people who have favorite press secretaries are probably the biggest NPC normies, slack-jawed people we have in the society. They are literally there to lie for the president because the president cannot answer for the media. They are the biggest swamp monsters you can find because how do you even get that job? I'm gonna show you guys this clip of Jen Psaki when she used to be a press secretary and she used to apologize for the national security state. Just straight up lying and saying that the United States, we don't invade countries, we don't do that. And then she was called out for it. I'm gonna play that. Nicole Wallace. Thank you guys. I don't memorize these people like that. But Nicole Wallace is the person I was talking about. She's like a big MSNBC anchor, straight up was George W. Bush spokesperson, straight from government. And Noam Chomsky wrote Manufacturing Consent. There are many people who analyze how the media will take stories from the intelligence community and then they'll print it as fact. And they actually like change the entire strategy. They don't do it like that anymore. They just straight up have CIA people in the media. Like, why are we doing this middleman shit? They know what we're doing. Fuck it. Let's have the CIA guy on. Have intelligence people on. And it was not even hide a former CIA person. We're gonna have you talk about Ukraine because I'm sure you're gonna be non-biased. We're gonna have former CIA guy talk about how China is so dangerous for the average American. So I think I preface the story enough. And I'm going to show you guys the fanfare that she has. And I'm going to show you guys the example of the insane rank propaganda that's coming from her show. Because it's not like she's like, oh, yeah, I used to work in government, but now I'm transition to the fourth estate where I'm holding the government accountable. No. Cheerleader. Propagandist at the highest order. There's Ari Melber, who is, I don't even cover him on the show. Unbearable. I tell you guys, there's like actually value to me covering like Morning Joe. And maybe Jen Psaki's show, because I'm gonna show you guys how aggressive she is. Ari Melber, no value. I never show you guys. This guy, he became famous because he's like, I'm a new young Gen Z reporter, and he's doing these statements. He's like, I'm gonna relate hip hop lyrics. I'm gonna show you guys how that relates to liberalism. Now I shit you not, guys. I know some of you guys probably seen it. He was like, yeah, man, Jay-Z used to tell us how we used to have a hard knock life, and that translates to how we used to struggle to get Barack Obama in charge. I'm like, bro, like, and liberals, wine moms love that shit because it made them feel hip. Made them feel hip and hop. Anyway, this dude disgusting. So this is when she got the show. He like, congrats to Jen Psaki. Check out Inside with Jen Psaki on MSNBC today. So this was a big tweet, and everyone was congratulating. She was trending on Twitter. There was a giant move for them. So liberals, no criticism at all about the relationship between former state officials and the media. Someone say Gen X. I didn't mean to say Gen Z. I meant to say that he presents himself as like the new generation. I see you, Roger. I maybe misspoke. My point is he was like, I'm a new generation, younger reporter. Like, obviously he aged recently, but he's like, yeah, unlike like the Chris Matthews, right? Unlike these older reporters, I know the hip hop. I listened to Jay-Z growing up. Kobe, my favorite basketball player. That's what I meant. I probably did misspoke when I did say he was Gen Z. I did not mean that. I did not mean that. But this is an example of what she's up to here. She got on the show. And one of the first segments she did was to defend the sanctity of the FBI. And she quote, I'm not going to play this clip. The Stream MAGA Republicans as a group want to defund the FBI, investigate and intimidate law enforcement, and coddle violent insurrectionists. Actually, it's a short clip. And you see fucking the biggest scumbag possible. This show is something else. And this is why this show may be worth covering. They also had Eric Holder on, and he came out straight up pro-war State Department propaganda, right? Now they brought on Hakeem Jeffries. So she used her pool, and she's going to have all these disgusting swamp monsters on. And this is why I'm going to show you guys this is straight up state TV. Worse than anything that you can possibly find. But liberals, and I cannot emphasize this enough, have no criticism of this. No criticism of this at all. In fact, they cheer this on. We just watched a little bit of it, just to give you an example This ridiculous.
Jeffries, a carefully worded statement or tweet when I see one. I've written a few of these myself, and I just want to read your tweet that you wrote yesterday in response to these posts from Donald Trump. We live in a democracy. Right-wing extremists who fan the flames of political violence with inflammatory rhetoric are not fit to serve American values over autocracy. Now, you didn't mention Trump there. Was that on purpose, or why not?
Well, it's a reference to both former President Trump and all those who continue to bend the knee to the insurrectionists in chief. You know, one of the more unfortunate things of the events of this weekend continue to reveal that the extreme MAGA Republicans as a group want to defund the FBI, investigate and intimidate law enforcement.
The far left, Jen Psaki. The far left of King Jeffries doing segments defending the honor of the FBI and the police state. Liberals, once again, people with Black Lives Matter in their profile. No criticism of this. On the quote left platform, having state officials do program and propaganda, pro-FBI propaganda out in the open. Imagine your opposition is the Republican Party. The Republican Party. But the only thing you can critique them on is a few of them are bullshitting about defunding the FBI. That's what you attack them on? That's your weapon that you're going to use against Trump. Despite all the shit, all the horrible ideology of trickle-down economics, of their harsh police state, border industrial complex, genocide-enabling system. Despite all the crimes of Trump and the Republicans, the best you fucking have is they want to defund a criminal organization known as the FBI. The best they have on someone like Donald Trump is that he paid a fucking porn star. How are you not embarrassed? How are you not embarrassed? That's the word. That's the best you got on these people. And now I'm gonna show you guys another segment here. You want to know how they're gonna run against Trump in 2024? They're gonna be like, oh, we can't support Donald Trump. We must vote Donald Trump out. He opposes the Ukraine war. These are the people that the Bootsy left and the NATO left want to form a coalition with. Before I show this amazing clip, because this is Jen Psaki being oppositional to the Republicans. But I know I'm ranting. Zoya, Andrew, you have anything you want to chime in, going once, going twice, before I move on? All right, I'm going to show you guys this video, and I'll get you guys in here. This is going to be the strategy, and that's why I say, man, Jen Psaki maybe have a show that is worth breaking down. I don't do Ari Melber. I don't even do Rachel Maddow. Not worth it. I do a lot of people I don't show you guys. Not worth my fucking time. But this shit shows directly the strategy that Democrats have. Jen Psaki show represent exactly what the establishment Democrat Party, their messaging and their strategy is going to be. And look at this. This is Ron DeSantis, a fascist psychopath. And you want to know her best attack on Ron DeSantis?
To admit, I've been trying so hard all week to figure out what exactly Ron DeSantis thinks about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I mean, I know what Ron DeSantis used to think, because before he was a governor and a likely presidential candidate, he was just kind of a run-of-the-mill member of Congress during Russia's invasion of Crimea, which was almost a decade ago. And just like most Republicans at the time, he talked pretty tough about Vladimir Putin and Russia.
Ukraine is a great example. What Vladimir Putin sees is he sees weakness. He sees a president that's not serious. And so he knows he can get away with things there. And I think if we had a policy which was firm, which armed Ukraine with defensive and offensive weapons so that they could defend themselves, I think Putin would make different calculations. And so I think Obama's policy of weakness is actually making a larger conflict more likely. And I think if you had a Reagan-esque policy of strength, I think you'd see people like Putin not want to mess with us.
Now, Jen Psaki is right here. But this shows why Ron DeSantis, this man's a demon, guys. I tell you, this dude is dangerous. Remember his comments after Colombia? He's like, why are we not getting involved in these South American elections like we did in the 80s? Like, dude, this guy is faking it like a motherfucker. I told you guys, my instinct is I think Trump is full shit on Ukraine. That's just my instinct. I don't believe him. But Ron DeSantis, I don't want to hear any pushback when I say this dude is 100% full of shit on his pushback on Ukraine. He already walked it back. This guy is saying whatever it takes to win, and when he get power, when the door is shut, this dude is going to be an insane neocon, guaranteed. But look at the analysis that comes from Jen Psaki here, where she's saying this is the good old days. That's my analysis of this. This guy's dead. But Jen Psaki like, man, look what Ron DeSantis used to say when he was an acceptable establishment guy. This is the criticism that liberals have of Ron DeSantis. Let me continue.
That's some pretty standard hawkish stuff from then Congressman Ron DeSantis. Nothing too surprising about what he said. So it was a little confusing earlier this month when DeSantis responded to a questionnaire from Tucker Carlson, of course, about Russia's latest invasion of Ukraine by saying this, quote, while the U.S. has many vital national interests, becoming further entangled in a territorial dispute, that's the key part there, between Ukraine and Russia is not one of them. A territorial dispute that is not a vital national interest. This is the biggest war in Europe, okay? Definitely singing a different tune, though, there than he was.
Bro, you literally have generals. You had Biden. You have many government officials before the Ukraine war that straight up said, Ukraine is not in our national interest. So what he says here is factually true. But Psaki is triggered, and her criticism on her first week of her show, attacking Ron DeSantis, is coming from a pro-war angle. Oh my God, Ron DeSantis, you used to be based. You used to be based on this issue. What happened? Now you're calling for peace, which he kind of not really, right? But let me continue. Feel free to interrupt me, guys, anytime, but let me continue this.
2015. Tucker Carlson seemed to approve, and maybe that was the entire point, which shouldn't be a surprise because he was describing it as a territorial dispute in the same language that Tucker, Donald Trump, and Vladimir Putin, the guy who's overseeing and directing this invasion, by the way, would also use. But there was also a whole lot of backlash from.
You guys know that's her only argument against it. Like you gotta notice when I continue the clip, she's like, at first she acts all smug. She's like, man, I'm about to debunk this territorial dispute shit. But you know her only argument is, that what Donald Trump and what Putin says. So Donald Trump and Putin says it, so it must not be true. No discussion about the Minsk Accords. No discussion about the lies from the Ukrainian government. No conversations about English and UK officials saying that the Minsk Accord was literally a stalling tactic so they can get ready to go to war with Russia. No conversation about any of that. It just, hey, you guys know that Donald Trump and Putin said that too, so it must not be true. No, I'm going to let it continue. That's the only counter argument to that.
From other prominent Republicans, including his fellow Floridian Marco Rubio, who said, I don't know what he's trying to do. Obviously, he doesn't deal with foreign policy every day as governor. Obviously, he doesn't. And
that goes back to the coverage that we had where Ron DeSantis came out with those quotes because he's trying to mimic Trump. And then they even had Marco Rubio's in Florida come out against him. The establishment freaked out. Mitch McConnell freaked out. And then it showed how much of a pussy Ron DeSantis is. Because I was laughing on the show because Morning Joe did a segment where it was like, man, these Republican senators really gonna put pressure on Ron DeSantis. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? No one gives a fuck what Mitch McConnell thinks, Marco Rubio thinks. I was like, this is a great political move for him. But Ron DeSantis was like, oh shit, Mitch McConnell spoke out against me. He was like, oh no, Marco Rubio. What a pussy, man. But let's continue.
Seemed like all that backlash might have gotten through to him somehow because in an interview with Piers Morgan, Ron DeSantis took another crack at it.
I think they have the right to that territory. I just think that's the source of the conflict. It's in those regions, which there's likely going to continue to be a lot of conflict on that going forward. So if I could snap my fingers, I'd give it back to Ukraine 100%.
What's your view of Putin?
Look, I think he's got grand ambitions. I think he's hostile to the United States. But I think the thing that we've seen is he doesn't have the conventional capability to realize his ambitions. And so he's basically a gas station with a bunch of nuclear weapons. I think he is a war criminal. This ICC, we have not done that in the United States because we're concerned about our soldiers or people being brought under it. But I do think that he should be held accountable.
What do you say, Ron? What did you just say? Hold on, let me listen to that again. What you just
And
say?
so he's basically a gas station with a bunch of nuclear weapons. I think he is a war criminal. This ICC, we have not done that in the United States because we're concerned about our soldiers or people being brought under it. But I do think that he should be held accountable.
So question to Western chauvinists and people like Ron DeSantis that believe America's out doing good in the world. What do you mean you worried about U.S. soldiers in the ICC? What do you have to be worried about, sir? A good journalist, actually a journalist, period, would ask that follow-up question, right? Not Piers Morgan. And the society assumes they are the real journalists, though. How is that not your obvious follow-up question? If he said that shit, I was like, what do you mean? You should be all for this, right? The ICC should prosecute all war crimes. I thought the United States soldiers were doing the best fighting for freedom out there. Why are you worried, son?
I feel like it needs to be repeated every time I see Ron DeSantis's fat face. Is that he's the lowest of the low that you can really go in modern America. I feel like because he's a lawyer who worked for, I guess, the Air Force and the Army and other military branches in Iraq to cover up war crimes, and in Guantanamo Bay to cover up, some of the worst crimes against humanity going on around the planet all the time. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. He is 100% war hawk. Anything that he is saying to the contrary is just PR that he built up with his campaign team. So it's like sometimes it is kind of funny. He'll let dumb stuff slip like that. Like, oh, you probably shouldn't mention that you're also war criminals and that's why you don't support the ICC. At the same time, you're trying to convince them to push harder against Putin and do it for you. But man, I can't stand this guy at all.
Yeah. So we only got 2 minutes left. I'll just let it play the rest of the way through. Got one more video show on the Psaki thing.
Okay, so now Vladimir Putin's a war criminal now who should be held accountable. Okay, definitely stronger language than that written statement to Tucker Carlson. But then, just the day after that interview aired, there was this.
You have Ukraine and Russia fighting over kind of the borderlands there in the far eastern part of Ukraine and over places like Crimea. And my position on that is, I care more about securing our own border in the United States than I do about the Russia-Ukraine border. And it seems like the establishment, some of the people that you mentioned, they ignore the problems that we have here at home as Americans.
Okay. So if you're having a hard time following, you're not alone. But let me try to recap here. It's nothing more than a territorial dispute, but the person overseeing this little territorial dispute is a war criminal. But at the same time, we have to worry much more about our own border than said war criminal. Got it. Okay, I think. And look, I know there are politics involved.
Hey, are you ever going to dispute anything he says? This is really her style, guys. Have you guys noticed it? She does this thing where she's like, I'm going to rebuke what he said there. And then she just responded in a sarcastic way, just mock what he said. Oh, so you think it's a territorial dispute, don't you? Ha, but you said Putin's a war criminal. Ha, ha, ha. Like, you said nothing intellectual. You just sound like a mean girl. You know them people that just snicker, huh? Oh, Nick says he's an anti-imperialist. Oh, RBN says you should do mutual aid. Oh, you think that's cute, huh? You think third parties are cute, huh? Like, bitch, you're not even making an argument. You're just snickering. That's what she's doing. She has nothing moving in this brain at all. She thinks this is a counter argument to Ron DeSantis' basic argument talking about a territorial dispute and him even calling Putin a war criminal. So let's finish this clip. Let's see if Jen Psaki actually manufactures an intelligent argument against Ron DeSantis. Spoiler alert, chances of that is very slim.
Here, of course there are. This is a potential presidential primary that he's going to get himself engaged in. But this isn't just about positioning in a Republican primary. The rest of the world actually watches stuff like this very closely, including Vladimir Putin. And if he sees the 2 leading Republican candidates for president waffling on support for Ukraine, it gives him incentive to wait out the next year and a half and continue to pulverize Ukrainian civilians, rather than even being open to negotiating anything. So Ron DeSantis may think this is just another political issue to manage in a primary, but what he is saying could actually impact the war. Europeans are watching this too, and if they think the United States may waver in their support, that can impact their calculus as well. Look, I was with President Biden on his first overseas trip as president when the most common concern he heard from other foreign leaders was whether they could depend on our commitment to our values and to our partners.
What do you mean by most foreign leaders? What do you mean by that? Because based on what I see, a very small percentage actually for this shit. Yeah, the global South in Africa, they're not for this shit. You mean the people that we bully? Look, this is straight up state TV of the highest order. If you believe China and the DPRK have the worst propaganda media, how is anything they do worse than this? Did she bring the Minsk Accords? She didn't bring no historical facts about Ukraine. She just snickered and moved on. And liberals are like, yes, queen, slay queen. This is our mean girl. Couldn't wait for her to have a show.
After 4 years of Donald Trump, how long would it last was their question. And you better believe that those concerns will resurface if they are sensing a return to the isolationist sentiment from the leading Republican candidates for president. Now, it may be that Ron DeSantis has lurched away from Trump on this issue and is a firm supporter of helping Ukraine. It may be that he's lurched back. I honestly can't tell. But what I do know is this: consistency matters, commitment to values matters, and at the moment, Ron DeSantis isn't showing much of either of those.
That's their criticism of Ron DeSantis. Now, last time I'm going to show in this segment, I'm going to show you guys the person that they hired at MSNBC. The people that liberal blue checks are cheering for. And if you think that you're getting a neutral analysis, I know our audience is based, but just for the few people who wander in here, if you think Jen Psaki is a good faith actor that is intellectually breaking down and analyzing Ukraine, coming up with rebuttals, look at this. This is who Jen Psaki is, and this is why she got the job at MSNBC at the end of the day.
Maduro last night went on the air and said that they'd arrested multiple people who were allegedly behind a coup that was backed by the United States. What is your response?
These latest accusations, like all previous such accusations, are ludicrous. As a matter of longstanding policy, the United States does not support political transitions by non-constitutional means. Political transitions must be democratic, constitutional, peaceful, and legal.
The U.S. has whoa. The U.S. has a long-standing practice of not promoting. What did you say? How long-standing is that? In particular, in South and Latin America, that is not a long-standing practice.
I hope that music doesn't get us in trouble later. But man, you see, with a straight face, Jen Psaki was like, and I think this was under Obama, when she was like a press secretary. I gotta look at her exact position there, but she was a press secretary for the. I gotta look that up. But it was during the Obama administration, and then she was asked about this, and she was like, "It's U.S. official policy that we do not engage in coups." With a straight face. Who can do that? Can you guys do that? Can you guys go on camera? Actually, it's not on camera. It's actually worse than that because I can't see you motherfuckers. Can you actually go in the press conference with a ton of people watching with cameras and just straight up lie? Straight up say, yeah, reports say that the sky is red, man. Reports say that the United States is located in the Eastern Hemisphere. Can you guys just do that with no shame? That is the kind of person that gets hired on MSNBC. That's the kind of person that is a Ukraine war bootlicker. Someone who's willing to lie for the state. That's why that performance there, where she's willing to lie for the U.S. war machine, that's why she got hired by Joe Biden. That's why she became press secretary. Then it was like, man, she's a really good liar. Man, you see how stylish she looks when she lies? Then they gave her an MSNBC job. The same job. You guys understand? She has the same exact job that she did as Biden press secretary, except with a pay raise. There's corruption at the highest level. Because she's going out there doing defense for Biden and tagging Republicans all the time. The only difference was she was capped on the government wage under Biden. They was like, nah, we about to give you that Rachel Maddow shit, son. I don't know how much I'll assume, what, $200,000, $300,000, right? I'll assume that she will make. Something around that, maybe less than that, right? Nah, so she probably get paid $10,000, $20,000 per show now. So I'm telling you guys, this is her being awarded for those lies, for her performance as Biden press secretary. So they say, hey, you do the same job, but on MSNBC, but with a pay raise. But tell me more about how other countries are more propagandized, how other systems are more corrupt. My last statements, Zoya, Andrew, feel free to chime in with the last thoughts if you guys have any.
Well, she definitely earned that position because I remember her being on CNN as like a special guest all the time, bashing leftists. So she put in the work, like Neera Tanden and all of them. You know, they have to go out there, Warren, all of them, and earn this. You know, perform for the establishment. But at this point, corporate-owned mainstream media is simply a mechanism to provide people with spectacle, while the elitists loot them. Ron DeSantis, by the way, served at Guantanamo Bay, where he's accused of participating in force feeding.
And he was asked about it. He was like, "Oh, actually, that was above my pay grade. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't see anything. Nothing to see here."
Yeah, even though it was his job, literally, to receive complaints from prisoners.
Wow. See, I didn't see that. I didn't miss that part of the story. That's very telling. I naturally didn't believe him, but now that detail says everything, right? Andrew, anything you want to chime in on?
Just the point that you mentioned. I mean, yeah, I could try to dunk on Jen Psaki. There's plenty to say, but the point you made earlier, where it's like she's not even, and this is standard for a lot of people in political discourse in the U.S. They don't push back on anything you say. They have their own club that believe what they believe, and that's about it. They don't go deeper than just repeating their talking points. But she doesn't even mention that Ron DeSantis is like, oh, I'd rather have a war with Mexico. I'd love to have wars in Latin America. Why are we doing this war over in Europe? And she's like, are you kidding me, Ron? We can do both of those. Why would you let go of the war in Europe? And that terrifies me. Like, just selfishly living in Latin America, I'm like, fuck, I take it, the U.S. has invaded Mexico before. That they're putting legislation on the table to do it now. And Biden is repeating the same talking points that the Republicans are using to push that. Biden's like, yeah, the Republicans are soft on the border. They're going to let hundreds of pounds of fentanyl over the border because they're soft. They're just wussies. It's like, that's, again, the same level of like, oh, we'll go to the right of whatever the Republicans are saying because we don't know what to do anymore. That's all we can think of to do.